Okay, so rambling vlog time. I'm just gonna get right to the point. I recently read an article. It's actually horse related, not business related, but I think horses and business kind of go together, and I'm a horse person, so bear with me. So I recently read an article basically about whose responsibility is it in a barn to um, create a positive environment and to like kind of be the person in charge of the culture. So, who's responsible if it's a negative culture? And I thought it was a really interesting article, not only as a boarder, but also as a business leader, that the author basically put all of the responsibility or the primary responsibility on the business owner, so the person who owns the barn or the barn manager or the head trainer. And I do agree with a lot of those points. I think that um, leaders do have a great deal of responsibility to set the tone. And in my own personal experience, I have seen uh, horse leaders try to do that. I know sometimes it can be tiring. Sometimes you say the wrong thing and you end up being negative anyway. And we're all human, so I think that we're going to have that like little bit of negativity by nature anyway. Um, But I wanted to add on, especially in terms of business, that I think that if you are part of an organization, so if you are the leader, if you're an employee, and even if you're a customer, I think that you also have a great deal of responsibility to add to a positive culture rather than a negative one, because I think it's really easy for anybody on any rung of the ladder or any piece of the pie in a circle, I think it's really easy for negativity to spread from any point, whether it's a vertical spread or a circular one. Um, and I say that because there's just a lot of negativity that I think gets kind of brushed under the rug where it becomes an eye for an eye. This person was negative, so I'm going to be negative. Um, I just wanted to remind everyone that we have a choice, and I'm certainly not perfect. I've been through a great deal of trauma, and there have been times when it has overwhelmed me, and I've had periods of negativity, and I've definitely appreciated the friends and family who gave me the space to be negative for a time, and then kind of called me out on it and gave me the space to um, kind of react and change and make that decision to become positive again. Um, But I don't think that an eye for an eye is an okay strategy when it comes to maintaining culture. I think that we all have a personal responsibility to make the decision to stay positive and to be kind. And I think that there are ways to do that um, in a healthy manner, especially if you're dealing with trauma or someone who's caused you trauma. I think that being positive and being encouraging in general as a person, I don't think that that takes away from what happened to you or something that someone has done to you that they may need to face in some way in their life, whether it be personally or professionally. Um, I also don't think it's okay, on the other hand, to reduce the progress that a person is making. So let's say I've gone through a spell of negativity. I have. Um, I was in a pretty traumatic accident and then recovered from it, and then had some smaller accidents that happened to the horses, and that kind of took the wind out of my sails because I felt like I kind of got going again, and then had some setbacks and hadn't really dealt thoroughly with the grief the first time around. And then had additional grief added on top of it. So I did go through a period of negativity, as I said before. Um, and then, I had the space to grow and make some changes to basically be positive again. I think if you see someone doing that, I don't think it's okay to say, well, they are a negative person because they've said and done negative things, because I think you can teach an old dog new tricks. I think that a person who, in general, has been negative can learn to take a step back and admit that they've been negative and to say, I'm ready to make a change. I don't want to be a negative thinking, negative speaking person anymore. And I think we have to accept that. I think that the me that was me through the winter is a different me than now. And I do accept and admit and acknowledge I went through a period of negativity, but now I'm going through a period of positivity. And I'm certainly not ashamed of that period, and I'm not going to deny it either. And I think that as functioning adults, I think that we need to give people the space to make the changes that they need to make and forgive them for mistakes or actions like that. I mean, certainly if someone caused you a fair deal of trauma, you can choose to move on from that and be aware that they did that. But I don't think that because someone spoke negatively, that it means that forever they're banished to this corner of negativity. So, if you're a leader, I think that you have a lot more responsibility and a lot more work to stay positive, even when the people around you are negative. But I still think that there's a fair bit of responsibility that falls on all the other stakeholders um, in a situation to be responsible for their own actions and their own thinking and to stay positive. So that's today's ramble. Be positive and be kind.